You see, Lynch wasn't just managing some abstract billions, he was handling small amounts of ordinary people. In fact, people with as little as $5,000 or $10,000 to start out had everything on the line. But here's the deal. When the market dropped, the weight of that responsibility was so overwhelming for him because these small investments meant everything to those people. Now, let me make this clear. If you're starting out with a small amount of money, you're getting it right as well. I think we can all agree that seeing your portfolio take a hit is nerve-wracking. But as Lynch demonstrates, beginning with a few bucks can boost your confidence as you look to expand your portfolio even further. Which begs the question, how do you stay calm in the middle of a market drop? Well, as most of you might already know, you have to focus on the long term and trust that your investments will recover over the long haul, just as they did for Lynch's investors. So, how much information are you missing as a small investor? And could it be holding you back from making huge gains? Here's the thing. Back in the day, regular investors didn't have the same information that the pros had, but that's not the case anymore. Lynch is pointing out that today, when companies release financial data, it's available online for everyone, and the playing field is much more level now. Lynch admits to himself that there's no excuse for lack of information. But what's even more interesting is how small investors can use this information to make better decisions about where to put their money. Think of it this way. You can access the same company earnings report that professional money managers are looking at while sitting at home with a laptop and start investing with a few $100s. Which means the barriers to smart investing have come way down. And with the right research, small investors can now make moves just like the experts. But the next part is even more fascinating. Peter Lynch is a huge advocate of starting early, especially for small investors. Why? Because time is your best friend when it comes to investing. Let's say you're 25 and you invest $10,000 in an account that grows 7% annually. Now, $10,000 might feel like a lot to part with at first, but 10 years later, your $10,000 has grown to almost $20,000 without doing anything. Now let's say you keep doing that. Every year you invest a little more, say $1,000 a year. Thanks to compounding, which is basically earning interest on your money grows like a snowball rolling down a hill, getting bigger and bigger. By the time you hit retirement age, your small investment has potentially turned into a significant chunk. But wait, what if the hack for mastering the stock market is a paper portfolio you haven't even built yet? Another golden nugget Lynch offers is the idea of starting with a paper portfolio. Think of it this way. Before you risk your hard-earned money, why not test your investment ideas on paper? Surprisingly, most people skip this step, rushing into the market without understanding their own investing strengths and weaknesses. By selecting a few companies and tracking their performance over a few years, you can figure out what you're good at, whether it's picking small growth companies or identifying turnarounds. Many people think they need a lot of money to invest, but Lynch is showing us that even small investors can take meaningful steps without significant risk. As it turns out, a paper portfolio can be a powerful training ground, allowing you to make mistakes, learn from them, and then invest real money when you're much more comfortable. But this next section is even more intriguing. Lynch says that you can learn what types of investments you're good at by practicing with your paper portfolio. Think of it this way. Are you better at picking turnarounds, or are small growth companies more your thing? Now, what's even more important is figuring this out without risking real money. You see, many small investors jump into the market without understanding their own strengths and weaknesses. The truth is, you need to specialize in what you're good at, and over time, you can refine your strategy. In other words, you can minimize the number of stocks you hold while maximizing your returns, which Lynch explains more in this next section. Lynch has good news for small investors here. For the average person, all you need is a few stocks in a lifetime. Now let me make this clear. When you're starting out with small amounts of money, you don't need to diversify across dozens of empires. In other words, a few well-chosen investments can make a huge difference over the long term. Instead of spreading yourself too thin, focus on stocks that you believe in, companies you understand, and ones that you have the potential for growth. But as you'll find out later, the challenge is not just picking any stock. You have to let a few investments grow over time. Which begs the question, could you be risking it all by moving too fast? Patience is another core lesson Lynch shares, saying, I might have been right 6 out of 10 times, but if I'm right, I make double or triple. The essence of this advice is that even small investors need to realize that they won't always be right. In fact, being wrong a few times is inevitable. But the key is to make sure that when you're right, the wins are big enough to make up for the losses. You might be wondering, how does this apply to investing small amounts of money? Well, as Lynch points out, even if you're wrong about a few stocks, the ones you get right could lead to a 10 times or a 5 times return. And in case you're not aware, long-term thinking with patience can turn small investments into much larger gains over time. Now let me make this clear. Lynch's mantra of invest in what you know is the backbone of his investing strategy. Small investors often get overwhelmed trying to pick the next hot stock. But here's the thing, by focusing on businesses you understand, you give yourself a real advantage. See, many small investors lose money because they invest in industries they know little to nothing about. But as Lynch himself suggests, when you stick to what you know, you reduce the risk of making panic-driven decisions during market downturns. And in case you're not aware, this is one of the simplest, most powerful pieces of advice for anyone with limited funds to invest. But could you be missing the chance of a lifetime by avoiding to put money in a company that's already taken off? Here, Lynch is talking about how you could have bought Walmart even after it had gone up tenfold and still made massive gains. Here's the thing, most people think that once a company has taken off, it's a lost opportunity. But in reality, there's often still plenty of room for more growth. As it turns out, companies like Walmart still had plenty of growth left even after years of expansion. Lynch is encouraging small investors that it's never too late to get in on companies that have already proven their worth. In other words, just because a stock has already risen doesn't mean it's done growing. You can make real wealth if you hold on to those strong companies over time, even if you didn't catch them at their absolute lowest. But here's the thing, bottom fishing might be your biggest mistake yet, and here's why. You see, Peter Lynch is pointing out one of the biggest traps for new investors, what's known as bottom fishing. Think of it this way, just because a stock's price has dropped doesn't mean it's suddenly a bargain. But what's even more distressing is that many people jump into a stock without looking at the actual business behind it. Lynch will tell you that buying a stock simply because it's cheaper is a recipe for disaster, and most people who make that mistake often end up losing money. Now let me make this clear, if you're working with small amounts of money, you can't afford to make such errors. In other words, don't just buy something because it's cheap. Understand the business behind it. But this next section is even more fascinating. Well, as most of you might already know, Lynch has had a system of picking stocks. And here's the deal, great companies are often led by great managers. Now, Lynch focused on investing in companies with strong management because he observed that good leadership could actually accelerate real long-term growth. Surprisingly, many small investors overlook the fact that management can make or break a company's success. But you can't afford to ignore this, especially when you're investing small amounts of money, because you don't have the luxury of spreading your risk. Which is why you need to stick to your long-term goal, as you'll figure out in this next section. Lynch is essentially giving us a blueprint for how great leaders operate. And so, here's where it gets interesting. This same approach can be applied to how you invest, even with a small amount of capital. You see, just like great managers set clear goals and work towards them, you need to do the same with your investments. Now, if you have a small amount of money to start with, you should be laser focused on your financial goals just the way you'd do it if you had more capital. Avoid getting distracted by trends or flashy stocks. And in case you're wondering, yes, this approach works just as well for small investors as it does for large ones, and it's exactly what you need. To wrap things up, sticking to Lynch's principles can give you a true advantage, even when the market looks unpredictable. You just need to figure out a solid plan that holds up and use Lynch's insights in your own investing journey, even if you're starting with a small amount. Before you head out, we've handpicked a few videos to sharpen your investing skills even further as you look to build true wealth. They're right here on the screen, so don't miss out on them. Smash that like button and subscribe to our channel if you haven't yet, and I'll see you in the next video.